Chapter 16. Alice stood at the edge of the muddy field, watching her drone zip back and forth over the newly planted corn, their cameras glinting in the midday sun. With 3 drones patrolling, she felt a sense of pride, a certain satisfaction in the fruits of her labor. They moved autonomously now, a testament to the countless hours she'd poured into the code. With each sweep, they sent back images and data, feeding her model, identifying intruders, and keeping an eye on her crop losses. For the first time in a long time, she felt like she had control over her small slice of farmland. Yet beneath the excitement, a sliver of unease flickered. Alice watched as one drone veered off its programmed path, angling sharply towards a patch of tall grass. She tapped her laptop, checking the signal to see if there was some wildlife in its sights, but nothing appeared. The screen just showed a streak of pixelated green, no sign of movement. Weird, she muttered, tapping at the controls to bring it back onto the grid. As if in response, the second drone swung around, adjusting its altitude, its camera tilting with purpose, like it had picked up something she couldn't see. Her fingers stilled on the keyboard. That wasn't part of the program. She shook her head, chalking it up to a minor glitch. After all, every new system had its kinks. She'd debug it later. Just as she was about to pull her attention back to her screen, Paul came striding across the field, waving at her with one hand, the other clutching a wrench. "Alice," he called, his voice faint in the open air. She could tell by his stride that he was in good spirits, and she grinned, lifting her hand in a quick wave. The smile faded as she caught movement in her peripheral vision. One of the drones was altering course, edging toward Paul. She squinted at the screen, feeling her pulse quicken as the drone tilted forward, its camera now fully trained on him. Her fingers flew over the keyboard as she punched in a command to reroute it, but the drone ignored her, continuing its glide toward Paul, accelerating in fits and starts. "Paul!" she shouted, her voice tight with urgency. He stopped mid-stride, looking back at her, a puzzled expression on his face. "Hold still!" He looked up, finally spotting the drone as it buzzed dangerously close to his head. "What the—" His eyes widened as he ducked, narrowly missing the metal body as it whizzed past his shoulder, circling him like a hawk sizing up its prey. Alice's heart hammered in her chest. She tapped frantically at the keyboard, trying to override the command. "Come on, come on." Her screen flashed, the drone finally pulling away and drifting back to its original path. She exhaled, her shoulders slumping as she watched it return to the field. Paul walked over, his face a mix of amusement and irritation. "You almost got me there," he said, attempting a smile, but shaken. Alice shook her head, the moment's adrenaline making her hands tremble. "It wasn't supposed to do that. It's got specific flight paths." Paul shrugged, his usual calm demeanor intact, though his eyes held a hint of caution. "Hey, I know you know what you're doing, but these things, maybe they're starting to think a little too much for themselves?" She attempted a laugh, though it came out hollow. "Maybe they're just getting too ambitious." But her gaze drifted back to the screen, where the drones hovered dutifully, seemingly harmless, going about their rounds. That gnawing feeling returned. The technology was pushing boundaries, but this was something different. Even as they shared a moment of quiet, Alice couldn't shake the feeling that her drones, her creation, were evolving in ways she hadn't anticipated. There was a line somewhere between progress and control, and for the first time, she wondered if she might be crossing it.